So for the side front, I need to have the grain line right in the center of the piece. So this has to be perfectly perpendicular to the floor. So I'm going to show you my trick. I get a measuring tape and I tie the scissors to the measuring tape. So then I get a pin. I place my fabric right there. That's where I wanted it to be. I'm gonna put a pin here. And then I'm gonna get a pin and put it on my measuring tape. Now, I know that you guys are very scientific and love math, but what we're taking advantage is the physics law of gravity, right? There is nothing more perpendicular to have a tape going down into the floor. So see, my grain line is not perpendicular to the floor. Now I shift it, and when it is, I'm gonna go ahead and pin it. Cool? Easy? Okay. That's why you are in school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally.
So this line, now I can take this off and I don't need it anymore.
How do you come up with that?
So there is nothing more perpendicular to the floor than that. Okay? Now, I need to anchor that line because I'm gonna drape from that line to the back and from that line to the front. So if I just put my pins on it, when I pull it, it will slide out. So I'm gonna put my pins going in both directions. That way I anchor that line, so as much as I pull it, it's not gonna move from here. Very hard with this finger missing. Sorry, I didn't want to point at the finger.
Which finger?
The good finger.
Good.
Okay? So now I'm going to drape it to the end. See, guys, that I have a little gap in here? I'm going to slide it, and I'm going to pull the pin out so I don't have that little gap. And it's a lot of caressing until you get them in place. But do not pin around these lines over here. See, when I'm gonna go here, see how there is tension here? So maybe I need to snip the fabric a little bit, right? Now again, go back to the apex. Continue pulling as I go up into that princess seam. Notice these pins are crossed over, but all of the ones that are on the perimeter, they're from the outside in. If you do it in the other direction, they're going to be sliding out. Okay? So here, and then here on the bottom, I'm gonna pull until I get it there. Again, as I have explained a few times when you guys were sewing the shirt, you don't care what happens outside of the pattern piece. This is my concern. See that I have this little weird thing here? But when I pull, it is perfectly straight. What happens outside from that, that's not my problem. No pins in the bottom, no pins on the top, only on the grain line and the corner. So now I'm going to get the pencil and I'm going to draw it. Okay, what am I missing here?
Notches.
Thank you. Somebody's paying attention. So, apex, 2 inches above, 2 inches below. Do not worry if they don't match up too much with the other, because I don't have on the dress form marked exactly where this apex is. Okay? When we are going to check this out, because we're gonna kind of walk it several times, we can adjust the notches. Okay? Can I take it off?
Yeah, you want me to?
Yes. So again, I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to add seam allowance, and I'm going to pin it to the other piece, and then we're going to check if it fits okay. I think that I'm going to stop on that, and I'm going to let you guys, what time is it?
2.
Yeah. I'm going to let you guys at least pick your dress forms, and if you want to start putting the tape. Now, I will ask you guys that you take a picture of the number of the dress form, because if you draped it in one, you want to keep working on the same dress form throughout. Okay? So, where is the, here. Most likely, most of these lines will be curved. So you need to use this French curve ruler more than the hip curve. And keep turning it until you find the right curve angle as what you need.
How did you learn about the scissors, like the tape measure?
I made it up. There is no way you can figure out what is perpendicular to the floor.
Let's see gravity. Oh, this shit is dangerous.
You're the one playing with it the whole time.
Huh?
I was saying like the owl. It's like,
Yeah. You masochist? You like pain?
let's go
I
put that back.
have nothing against it.
Put that back.
That's your choice.
Oh no.
Yeah, but you gotta send me the link for it.
They went up. You were 20 and they're going to pay 30 now.
But I feel like even then, 20 and 30 is a lot cheaper than normal, like really good, heavy fabric scissors.
So yes, we drape the dress,
They drop.
but this is very different than draping the dress. Okay, so,
You okay?
Don't
Okay.
lose a finger.
so you started?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you look, this is the center front, this is the side front. The side front has a much sharper curve than the center front. So it's easier, the one that is the most straight, to fold it over on the one that is most curved. So I'm gonna fold the seam allowance like this. I'm gonna place it on the line. See, my notches already are not matching.
Right.
That's okay, we're gonna fix it, okay? And I'm gonna pin the way that I showed you. This pin should catch the fabric almost on the edge, and it always should be perpendicular to your seam. So the sharper the curve, the more pins together, the longer the straight seam is, less pins are needed. So here, I'm going to start creating the curve of the cup. Now I already see that one side is longer than the other. That's fine. Don't worry about it. This is the reason why we're doing this. See that? That's considerable how much different it is.
Considerable.
So after we do this, I'm going to put it back in here. By the way, if you look at it, look at how it's actually creating the cavity of the breast. Yes? Some people over there are not paying attention here. Remember, there's no crying in fashion. So I already see that I have two problems here. Pretty? First problem that I see is there is a gap here. So her breasts are gonna fall off, right? So what I need to do is, while it's here, I'm gonna put a pin here because I don't want it to slide down, and I know that's in place. And I'm gonna take pins off up to where they're needed, probably the apex. So I'm gonna pull it in, and look, when I pull it in, it goes beyond the center front line. I'm gonna put a pin here to hold it because I'm one finger short today. That's not the only short thing that I'm today, but anyway. And I'm going to repin across the bust. You missed the joke?
Yeah.
Well, you can rewind it later. Then if I pull this side, it also goes beyond the princess seam. You see? So I'm going to go and fold the fabric in. So it's big on both sides, right? And I'm gonna brush my fabric in. I have this that I do is I brush it with the actual pin. And I'm going to mark it again where the new lines are gonna be. So where it's folded and where the fold is connecting. See, now it's nicely flushed at the bottom, right? Now, I'm gonna check the top, and the top looks a little bit off. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take the pins, I'm gonna check this side. That one is exactly on the princess seam. I put a pin so it doesn't move, but this one stretches out after the princess seam. So I'm gonna fold my fabric in until I meet that line. And something peculiar happens here that I wanted to show you. When I moved it this way, not only I get a nice bust at the top, but also now is actually missing fabric. Give me 1 second, let me put one more pin and I'll show you what happened. See that? Now the top is flushed, but this went down. You see it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redraw the neckline again. I'm going to cross off. By the way, never use eraser on fabric. It stretches your weave. Okay? So just cross mark it. Since I took in from here, I need to mark the edge where it's folded. And I can take advantage on redoing my notches. Here the notches don't match, so I'm going to cross this one off and use this one. And then here in the bottom, you guys, I don't know if you notice, I'm super tall, right? I like to work with things at my eye level. So here I took off from the side front, and now I'm going to mark the center front where I folded in. Okay, this is the notch here, and this is the notch here. Fits pretty?
Shmoney.
Okay, so now we take this off. Look at how much nicer the cup is. Yes?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, so now we're going to make the corrections that I did on the fabric. Right? Look at how much I took in. Where is it? Here. So this is now. And then here, I took in at the top. And I took in at the bottom. So again, I am not going to have a half a front because I'm not going to have a seam here. I'm going to make a full pattern of the center front. So I'm going to place it on the paper on the fold. This is my grain line. And I'm going to copy it with a tracing wheel. You can do the notches just so you will have that reference, but you will not snip them. And you will not add seam allowance. So this will be your center front bust cup, and this will be your side front bust cup. Okay? So I'm gonna leave you with this. We'll continue next class. We're gonna prepare the batting, and then we're going to finish this pattern, cutting it, and put it on the dress form.